Today, we're diving into something that seems incredibly simple on the surface, the industrial weighbridge. But as we're going to see, this isn't just about weight and numbers. It's really about control, about traceability, and about stopping these silent financial leaks that can bleed a company dry.
So picture this, right? A truck rolls up to the weighbridge. The driver hands over a paper slip that has the source weight on it, and that little piece of paper starts its journey through your facility completely by hand. Sometime later, someone on your team will punch that data into a system. Sounds simple enough, doesn't it?
Well, here's the catch. Here is exactly where that simple process hits a wall, and a hard one. What works perfectly fine for a handful of trucks a day completely falls apart under the pressure of a constant, heavy flow. This is that moment a manageable little task suddenly becomes a massive operational blind spot.
And I'm not just talking about slowing down. At scale, this system doesn't just bend, it shatters. This isn't an issue of people not working hard enough. It's about a process that was never, ever built to handle the kind of pressure that high-volume operations bring to the table.
This slide just lays it all out perfectly. At low volumes, on the left, everything's cool. It's under control. But as that volume cranks up, you see it on the right, the entries get inconsistent, little errors start to creep in, and the whole thing becomes totally unreliable. It's a system that's just exhausted and on the verge of collapse. And look, while the late entries and the typos are definitely frustrating, they're really just the symptoms. The real problem, the underlying disease, is a complete and total loss of real-time visibility. You're not in control anymore. You're just constantly playing catch-up, reacting to old information long after that truck has left the building.
Which brings us right to the heart of this whole explainer, a concept called the traceability gap. And this isn't just some buzzword, it is the hidden source of some really significant financial and material losses, what the industry just calls leakage. And this quote from the source material, man, it just perfectly captures that feeling of frustration. You know something is wrong. The numbers at the end of the month just don't add up. But when you try to hunt down the source, you can't. The trail goes cold because the data isn't there to give you an answer.
So let's put a pin in it. What is the traceability gap? It's pretty simple. It's when you can't reliably go back and check what actually happened. You can't connect the dots, and that makes any losses impossible to trace, which forces you into this constant, reactive, firefighting mode of control.
And this is what that gap looks like in the real world, day to day. Small differences in weight? They get ignored. Inspection notes are super vague. I mean, what does 2 iron rods actually tell you? Nothing. Things like tools or a 20-liter water can go completely unrecorded. And without pictures or a clean audit trail, it's all just a big guessing game.
Okay, so we've pretty clearly defined the problem. But to get to the right solution, we have to start by asking the right question.
And typically, when we think about bringing in technology, this is where our heads go first, right? Can a system replace a person? It's a question focused on cutting costs, on replacing that data entry operator.
But the source material points out that this is a total trap. Focusing on the person misses the entire point. It assumes the job is the problem, when really the person doing the job is often just a victim of a fundamentally broken process.
And this is the real light bulb moment. The right question isn't about replacing people at all. It's about asking, is the process we're forcing them to follow even capable of handling our business demands? Are we basically just setting them up to fail with a system that was always going to break?
So what happens when you decide to fix the process instead of just trying to replace the person? Well, the role doesn't just vanish. It actually transforms into something way, way more valuable.
This is such a critical point to get. When you automate all that tedious, error-prone manual entry, you don't make the person obsolete. You empower them. You free them up to do what people do best, to analyze, to investigate, and to make things better.
I mean, just look at this evolution. The job literally shifts from being reactive data entry to proactive control. Instead of spending their day just recording what happened yesterday, the person on the ground is now focused on understanding what's going wrong in this moment and finding ways to tighten up the process. They go from being dependent on somebody's memory to being empowered by real-time data.
And that leaves us with one final, really crucial question to think about for your own operations. Right now, how much of your control is based on when someone got around to entering the data versus how much is based on what the system captured instantly and accurately the moment it happened? Because that difference, it's not just about efficiency, it is the entire foundation of traceability and real control.